All those channels, J.P. Shadrick.
Welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and remodeling company. Busy couple of hours ahead. Of course, Jaguars Happy Hour until 5 o'clock. Jags HQ at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network. We've got the Jaguars 49ers preview coming up. Jaguars defense trying to slow down Christian McCaffrey. Dual threat running back for San Francisco, and the Jags offense facing a 49ers defense without the star defensive lineman Nick Bosa. Coach Mark Duffner coming up in studio. We'll get his thoughts on the matchup as well on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
What do you say, JP?
Coach Mark Duffner with us as well. Hey, Coach.
Hey, man. How are you doing?
How's it going? Welcome
going
back.
Terrific. Oh, great to be 2-1 and anxious to be 3-1.
You know, and that's a positive place to be, right? And there's a lot to work on from last week's game, but you can work on it after win. We talked about that in week 1. It's still the same after week 3, but 2-1's a really good spot right now for this team.
Absolutely. There's a whole bunch of folks in the league I know would like to be sitting in those chairs. So kudos to the staff and the organization of being where we are right now.
I thought that was one of the most physical ball games I've seen in a while. You know, I mean, just like both sides. I thought, the Jaguars trying to establish that physical identity this year. I thought the Texans matched it, for the most part,
First
especially
half,
with their
certainly.
defense,
Yeah.
I figure that there's going to be a lot of ice bags used this week by both teams.
Absolutely. They laid it out on the line. There's no doubt about that. And, we stared adversity in the face there in the second half and came out with the victory. So, again, great job by the group.
Yeah, as Liam Cohen said the other week, a lightning delay is not adversity. What they went through last week, that's a little more adverse, right? Where they're giving up a late touchdown and then having to take the ball away twice and dropping the ball all day long again. I mean, there's a lot going on in that game, Doc.
Well, 60 minutes, and they, like I said, they played it and won it at the end, so that's what matters.
Yeah, what I think impressed me, too, was just the way that they kind of persevered, as a team. But, because they weren't able to do that in Cincinnati. But how resilient some individual players were. And, look, you can't give up a 50-yard bomb on a double move, Tyson Campbell, but he fought back.
He did.
And had a huge pass breakup at the last drive of the game, and then obviously caused the fumble that was a big part of winning that football game. And then Brian Thomas Jr. had, I think it was 3 drops in that game, and when they needed him the most at the end of the ball game, he comes up with a big play, darn near lost control of the ball as he was switching hands. Which is a little bit unnerving there, but nonetheless, I mean, I thought it was a great example of guys just buying in, playing 60 minutes, and then finally getting it done. It's good stuff. And I will say this, and Duff, you could probably attest to this. You've been around the league for a long time. When you're not a good football team, historically, you're not going to get any good calls. You're not going to get any good breaks. The officials aren't going to do you any favors. There were a couple calls, again, just like there were in Cincinnati. Okay, there were a couple calls, a hold on Walker Little, a hold on Macari, that you just sit there and go, I mean, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? But the reality is until you establish yourself as a good football team, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt as a bad football team historically. So
no
suck
question.
it up.
I think no question about that. The great thing about it was that we found a way to win, and everybody contributed, defense, offense, special teams. So, again, big step forward by the club.
Coach Mark Duffner in studio with us. How would you go about the drop issue? I know you were a defensive coach all your career, but there's a lot going on last week, and it seemed to kind of blossom into something bigger for other players and a little contagious. How do you fix that?
Well, I think you drill it. I think it's just like if I'm struggling catching the ball on defense, if I'm struggling tackling, if I'm struggling protecting my legs, you go to the fundamental components of catching the ball or of tackling, whatever the obstacle is in terms of the fundamentals. So I'm sure that the coaching staff's got them out there catching the jugs, after practice or catching live balls, staying out with Trevor, even tennis ball drills, that they can do in the classroom and they can do at home, and eye hand drills. I mean, it's just things that I think it's just you just focus on. Generally, you get what you ask for, what you put focus on, and catching the football. I'm sure they're working on it, and I think it'll come back and good way for us.
I think you go the old school approach, and that you start instituting a fine pot in the wide receiver room. Every drop's $1,000.
Wow,
Okay.
$1,000
Well,
a
it's
drop.
economics of
In
today.
the old days, it used to be push-ups, but now I can see we're
I'll
talking.
catch anything you throw at me
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, yeah,
$1,000 a drop.
Well, I mean,
It
in
doesn't
my
matter.
era, it was like maybe, $50 or $100, but I mean, the economics of today make it $1,000.
Yeah, it's made it go up a little bit. Yeah.
I'll guarantee the catch rate goes up.
Yeah, I bet they'll catch anything thrown to them, not just footballs. That's how that would work.
And that would be
moving ahead.
just a private pot. At the end of the year, you can take that money and do something collectively.
Yeah.
Inflation, man. I mean, it used to be $100. Now it's $1,000.
You know what Jeff's talking about, though. Teams have done those things, and they've given that money to charity, or
Yeah,
they've given it to the community. I mean,
absolutely.
truly, that's not a bad recipe for that. So,
We actually, Duff, we didn't give it to charity back in the day. We actually gave it to the charity of ourselves
Well, I
at
was
the end of
trying
the
to-
year, having a little celebration party.
understood, and there's merit for that also.
Yeah, have a nice steak dinner somewhere. A couple cars take you there, and
Oh yeah.
maybe even catch a movie or something. I don't know, whatever.
I'm sure. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. Let's take our first look at the San Francisco 49ers 3-0 football team, even with all the injuries that are piling up this year for the Niners, and they are significant. Quarterback hasn't played the last 2 weeks. Mac Jones has played there. They've had wide receiver injuries as well. George Kittle hasn't touched the field at tight end. That's just on the offensive side, and now on the defensive side, it's starting to bleed over as well. Let's start, though, Duff, with the 49ers offense, and they've done just enough to win games here in the first 3 weeks. When you have Christian McCaffrey back there, it kind of helps you do some things offensively. What do they look like on tape offensively?
Well, they're a very sound run, play, pass type team, and I think that the head coach Shanahan's done a good job of marrying those concepts. That's kind of what they've been known for. They're going to motion every play, and they try to capture your eyes with that in terms of what the defense does. But I think you've got to admire, number one, what McCaffrey does. I mean, first of all, I think he's leading the league right now with most touches by anybody, both rushing and in terms of reception.
77.
Yeah. So he's right at the top as far as that's concerned. And really, their offense is going to go through him and most recently Pearsall, the Florida grad. That's number one, their wide receiver, who's really playing pretty darn good ball for him too. But McCaffrey, you got to tackle him. I mean, that guy has he's great with yak yardage, means yards after the catch or he's getting the ball in the run. So this guy is obviously a real force. You got to know that. I think he had 100. I think in his career against the Jags, it's been almost 190 yards a game. So, again, he's been a major factor for them in everything that they do. He's got 12 games with 10 catches or more in his career, and one of them last week against Arizona. So, again, he'll be a very strong and prolific part of what they're trying to do offensively. And then Pearsall right now I think he's leading the league in contested catches, and he's had 2 games over 100 yards. So you've got an explosive player there. Their issue in their running game is they're struggling there the most. I think they're 26th in the league in rushing and averaging about 3.3 yards a carry. So we're going to have to hammer that run game and get them into situations where, again, now we can gang up a little bit on what they're going to try to do in the passing game.
Yeah, when a Kyle Shanahan offense is at its best is when the running game is working. And right now, the running game is not operating at a high level. The interior guards for the offensive line are not great. And I think that's a big reason as to why they're not performing at a high level. Trent Williams getting a little old, not as good in run protection as he is in pass protection. If you get the 49ers to where they're drop back passing, you got them out of their groove. Okay, because that's not what they want to do. They want to move the quarterback, play action, all those different kinds of things off of the run. And the Jaguars have been very good against the run so far. So if they can continue to do that against the 49ers, then I think you've got a real solid chance to put pressure on whoever's playing quarterback and stopping that offense. Again, you go back to, I remember the game here, and then you go back to the game that was in San Francisco a while back. They were running the ball like champs against the Jaguars. And when they can do that, they're hard to stop, period.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah,
So-
and as Jeff was saying, that in terms of their offensive line, it's an old group, and it's also not a very big group. They're kind of light as far as that's concerned. So, again, we got to take advantage, like always in every game, winning that line of scrimmage.
Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker playing really good football right now. I'm looking forward to that matchup with Trent Williams, future Hall of Famer. Like you said, getting a little older now, 16th year in the league, but I think Josh has some ideas for him this week, it sounds like, from talking to him in the locker room.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. And like I said, he's really a game wrecker. When you watch him and Trayvon right now, you feel him in the games. They're forcing the issue, not always in the statistic end of, but they're affecting the quarterback was what you got to do. And really, depending on, I think we're going to get Purdy, but, if you look at what Jones has done, he's very effective with the short ball. I mean, I think he's like 20 out of 21 in short passes, those that are in the air from 0 to 9 yards. So they're going to still use the quick game based on our rush in terms of what our ends present to them.
That's going to be a great matchup, though, Josh versus Trent.
It was a great chance for him to go against a guy who's going to be in Canton one day. And, and he's 2 sacks away from the franchise record. I mean,
what's amazing to me is that Washington just let him go. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to believe.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, of course, Washington had some ownership questions and some questions about the operation of the organization, but you're talking about a Hall of Fame player. And he's getting up there, though, now 16 years in the league. And Josh is playing, I think, as a top 5 edge player in the league. Doesn't have the sack numbers to back that up, but game-winning play there at the end of the ball game the other day. Had a half a sack with Armstead, playing really strong against the run, too. They had one play they tried to crack him, and he just essentially turns and wheels and makes the play. I mean, he's fun to watch. And, of course, Trayvon plays the game like a complete bully. Yeah. And I love watching that. And McKivitz, the right tackle of the 49ers, he better put some sandbags in his drawers this week because I don't know if he's got enough lead in his pants to take on 44.
He's one of the light ones, huh,
Jeff? Yeah, he's one of the light ones,
Okay.
and Jeff's on it. I mean, both those tackles right now, eyes are big as spaghetti plates right now, knowing what they're going to face.
Jaguars linebacker play has been solid, too. Of course, we know about Foye Oluokun, but Devin Lloyd has been flashing early in this season.
Boy, I'll tell you, a couple of plays that he made, he made an open field tackle for loss early in the ball game on, I think, a screen that was out on the edge there that was decisive, confident.
That was one to Nico Collins.
That's correct, and physical. And, he's all over the place. And the other thing he's doing a great job of that you may not see all the time is that Anthony's utilizing him in the pass rush in terms of pass rush games. He's punching the hole in their pass protection to open up lanes for either himself or the adjacent defensive lineman. And so what I mean by that, he may attack the edge of the center to pick him so that the tackle can come around to take the rush lane away. So really impressive what his production's been and his willingness to not only participate on defense but special teams.
Yeah, I wanted to throw a little shout out to defensive coordinator Campanelli because in that ball game they utilized Devin Lloyd as a pick on that play you're talking about inside, but the one that really stood out was the sack that Trayvon got. Oh, yeah. Okay, you got a rookie left tackle in Ariante Ursary for the Houston Texans. And so they send Devin Lloyd, he's a linebacker position, and he attacks the inside hip of the tackle. And then the running back is assigned to block the linebacker. So the running back obviously chases him. Devin gets a push on the hip of the tackle. Trayvon plants his foot and then comes underneath. And it's like a pick play in basketball.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? And it's designed to get Trayvon free. Well, it actually got Devin free, but he missed the sack, and then Trayvon cleans it up. But, that's coaching. That's the X's and O's. That's not Jimmy and Joe or Devin and Trayvon. That's a really good play design there at a critical time.
And one final thought on this Jaguars defense as well. Positive play from the secondary. Yeah, we know about the takeaways. But in run support, coming up, making physical tackles. And, Duff, when you have that from your secondary – you got something, and especially you're going to need it this week against McCaffrey.
Absolutely, and offenses are going to challenge your secondary, always to determine what their run fits are going to be and how tough they can fit in the run game. And most of the time, they want to run at corners and guys that are not going to be aggressive in the run game. So, again, kudos to that group, too. They are showing up. You don't want them to show up too much now. We want to be able to handle them with the front seven, but when they do, we want them to make plays and tackles.
Yeah, Travis Hunter coming up and run support, making a play. And,
Absolutely.
of course, we know about the safeties, what they can do as well. Monday Night Football coming to Everbank Stadium October 6th, and it's a matchup you don't want to miss. The Jaguars will entertain the Kansas City Chiefs, and they'll throw it back in the Prowler jerseys yet again. Get your tickets now, jaguars.com/tickets, or call 904-633-2000. Plenty ahead. We're back in a moment with Mark Duffner's 5 keys or more to a Jaguars victory, and we'll get into the Jaguars' offensive matchup against Robert Saleh's scheme, the 49ers defense, coming up this Sunday at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Boselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elace, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years straight. Choose a gas, hybrid, or all-electric F-150. Got a heavyweight job to do? It's time for Super Duty. Save on a great selection of Ford trucks, including Maverick and Ranger. It's Ford Truck Month. Time to make your move. Don't miss the best offers of the year during Ford Truck Month.
At the same time, defenses are rotating guys, especially at the defensive line position. So it's not like there are no snaps from previous games where Bosa hasn't been on the field. So you expect things to be a little bit similar, a little bit different in some regards, but it's not like losing a quarterback or something on offense where your every single snap is a complete overhaul of the offense. Certainly his loss will be felt because he's such a phenomenal player, but you feel things out, but you've seen a little bit of how the defense looks without him out there.
Grant Udinski, Jaguars offensive coordinator, earlier today. The press conferences of both the coordinators at Jaguars.com or Jaguars YouTube. And if you're Duval enough to become the Jaguars 2025 Fan of the Year and earn a trip to Super Bowl 60, visit NFL.com/Fan of the Year. You can nominate yourself or another fan, and you can do it right now. Welcome back. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Coach Mark Duffner in studio with us. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Also Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. Let's take a look at the Jaguars' offensive matchup this week against the San Francisco defense. And you just heard Udinski there talking about the loss of Nick Bosa, the fantastic defensive lineman for the 49ers, out for the year with a knee injury. Duff, what does this do for the attack on defense? How do they overcome this, and what have they looked like in the first 3 weeks of the season?
Well, they've looked pretty good on defense. They're ranked well in defense. They're probably worst position as far as that's concerned is stopping the run, but they've been pretty darn good in the rankings as far as defense is concerned. This is a similar defense to Houston that we played last week. D'Amico Ryans, Robert Sal, they're all in the same family, if you will, and so that'll help us. They're a team that'll show a two-deep shell. They're going to be basically in a four-man front most of the time. Without Bosa now, that's going to be a factor for them because when they have had Bosa in the lineup, in all-down blitz percentage, it's about 45%. When he's not in the game, it's dropped down to about 28%. So I think their coordinator, especially Salas, felt better when he's got Bosa in the game. And also in terms of times to pass, in terms of the passing game, there's about another half second that they lose, that the offense gains when Bosa's not in there as far as that's concerned. He's been a factor there. And even just their record when he hasn't been in the game. They're like 6-12 when he hasn't played. So he'll affect them in terms of their game plan. Him not being in there will be affected by how much they blitz, by how much time we have to throw. The guy that's going to spike up for them has been Bryce Huff, a guy that had been with him, Salah with the Jets. Hard play, effective player as an edge defensive end type guy. I think he's got 2 sacks for the year. He had a sack last week, a critical one. So they'll try to implement him quite a bit. And then I think you'll see a little more in terms of maybe some similar application of Fred Warner in the blitz game.
Yeah, and the thing you said there that kind of is surprising, you said that the blitz rate goes up when Bosa's on the field, which –
it's weird. Right?
It's kind of counterproductive,
yeah.
But I think you bring up a great point in that a lot of coordinators would be like, okay, if we're going to send the blitz, that means we don't want to cover as long, and we're worried about it, so we want to make sure that it gets home. So I think he just feels more confident with Bosa on the field blitzing because the blitz gets there faster with him, and he feels a little more confident to do that. But a lot of times you would think the opposite. And that, hey, Bosa's not on the field. We need to blitz because we don't have him on the field. But that's a really interesting kind of thing there that you point out, Duff. And, you can't replace a guy like that. I mean, look, Huff is a good player, but he's not Bosa. No. I mean, Bosa's one of those once-in-a-lifetime kind of players, He's right there along the lines of one of the guys we saw last week, 55.
Oh, yeah, Daniil Hunter.
Yeah, Daniil, and he's, a 10-sack a year in his career type guy, and that's exactly what Nick Bosa is. I mean, he's that kind of an impact player, and them not having him, and obviously Kittle, the tight end, and, if you sit there and you compare the roster of the team that came in here couple years ago on Monday Night Football with what it is now, it ain't even close. I mean, it's a completely different team. I mean, they're almost going through a bit of a rebuild or a reload, whatever you want to call that,
No, yeah, but what you have to do now, you have to, and that's right. I think you have to recognize, though, they found a way to win in these last 3 games. They beat a 2-0 Arizona team in the last game, and that's with all these injuries. So. And with a number 2 quarterback. So, I mean, you're going to get this team, charging ahead. I think we'll get their best shot. I'm just glad they've got a big game coming after ours, too, which hopefully may take a little bit of their vision off of us.
Yeah, and they've won those 3 games with defense.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's how they're winning it. I mean, It's not like Brock Purdy and Mac Jones were just lighting it up with all these weapons on offense. I mean, the defense is giving up about 16 points a game.
That's right.
That's winning football right there. So if you can find a way to take advantage of the Bosa-less 49er defense, I think you got an excellent chance of traveling to the West Coast and getting a win.
Coach, another name you mentioned earlier, Fred Warner, linebacker, 8th year in the league, and just what does he bring to the table as a leader for that defense? And then in terms of scheme, what can he do?
Well, he's a major impact in terms of a leader in that team, and I think as he plays is how they go. I mean, he's high energy, high production, great physicality. I mean, you see him all the time, urging and congratulating his teammates. So a major personality in what they do. I mean, 11 tackles last week, 2 passes defended, a batted pass. He was a national NFL Player of the Week against New Orleans the week before they played Arizona. So he's a major guy. And then the other guy, this rookie, this 98 Michael Williams, he's been a pretty effective run defender for them. They don't have an explosive run when he's been in the game. In fact, their run percentage, people's run percentage is about 25% against the 49ers when he's playing. It spikes up to damn near 70% when he's not in there. So he's been a major factor and one we'll have to be aware of in the run game.
Something about those Georgia defensive ends, man. It's just Georgia just keeps churning them out,
Boy,
man.
They do.
It's like
half the
defensive
Georgia
front.
team-
If you need a defensive lineman, okay, go scout Georgia.
There's
You'll
about
probably find one.
4 of them in Philly right now.
I think that's one of the best statements I've heard in a long time because that's right. You go to Athens if you're looking for D-line.
Pretty much how that works. Yeah. All right, Duff, let's get some keys to a Jaguars victory against the 49ers. It would be the Jaguars' first win on the road against San Francisco all time. What you got?
Well, I think, it comes back to kind of what we've already said. I think offensively, we've got to run the ball. And this is no no-brainer statement, but control the football by doing it. Take their fans out of it. Keep their offense off the field. That'll be a big part of it. And I think our quarterback using his legs. The 49ers blitz considerably less against Arizona based on what they anticipated the legs of the quarterback that Arizona has and the fact that he can scramble like it is. So I think if he uses his legs, if we use our legs early at quarterback position, that'll help us. Win first down where we can have manageable downs as it goes on, and then just like every week, eliminate the penalties and the drops. In other words, let's get closer to playing as clean and complete a game as we can. On defense, it's going to be, again, containing McCaffrey and Pearsall in terms of what they add to the run game and passing game collectively. Win the takeaway and explosive battle, and affect this quarterback, with our coverage and rush. Those are going to be the things. And I didn't tell you anything that's cataclysmic here, but I do think it's that's the way to win. That's going to be the recipe for success for us.
I'm going to put one out there. I think this is the biggest one. Trevor's got to be better. And the reason I say that is that, the Texans challenged you. They played a 5-man front. They played bare 46, and they said, go ahead and throw it. Go ahead.
Beat us.
Go throw it.
Yep.
Okay, so the quarterback has to be able to respond. The wide receivers have to be able to respond to that type of front and defense and make them pay. And in this past game, they didn't make them pay. And against the 49ers, they play good defense. You got to make them pay. And if you don't make them pay, you're going to have a hard time winning.
Quarterback play. Got to have it
Always.
this week and always. Yeah,
Always.
not just this week. That's
Always.
every week. One final thing with you. Give us a tackling plan for McCaffrey. How do you go about doing that?
I mean, he's made everybody miss, and like I mentioned, the yardage after the run, after him getting the ball, whether it be a catch or not, has been tough. But it's going to be what the Jags have already been doing. They've had really good rally to the ball. They've done a good job of being in position, and then grabbing body parts when you get an opportunity to get the guy and hold on for dear life. I mean, because this guy is a real force as far as that's concerned. But I think that they just keep doing what they've been doing. They've been tackling pretty well. This guy will challenge you as good as anybody.
Big game for Foye and Devin.
Oh yeah,
with McCaffrey, because I mean they're kind of in a state of flux with all of their other weapons, in the passing game, wide receivers on IR, PUP, and the tight ends on injured reserve. So McCaffrey is a strong, comfortable player to throw the ball to for the quarterbacks. He's if you can stop him in all aspects, you got a great chance of winning.
There's one other thing I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
And it's similar to a lot of teams, but he has some tells, McCaffrey. When he gets in the shotgun, he gets, he's cheating out to get out. He clearly gives you that when he's going to release. He gets behind the offensive tackle. And so I know Foye and Devin will be aware of that. When he's wide in the shotgun, he's behind that tackle, he's getting out, cheating out to get out. When they get in the two-back sets, which they do some, it's pretty strong in terms of the run game. Now, you're going to get play pass, but it's a stronger run indicator. And if I know if I can get any edge there, that's big. And then when he's the running back, him in particular, but also Robinson, when he gets behind the quarterback, we call it at the home position or at the dot. That's a big run indicator and play pass, which they do. But, I mean, it's strong in the run game. So awareness of where 23 is will be big stuff for us. And I know they've been schooled on that, so let's get an edge on them. Let's get after them.
It's funny he brings that alignment up. You go all the way back to the Dan Marino days, okay? Jim Jensen, you remember the tight end slash, he's like a
Boston youth player.
Okay,
Yep.
wore number 11.
Yep.
Okay, you sit there and you could watch his alignment. If he had his foot that split the feet of the offensive tackle, pass he was getting out.
Yeah.
If not, he was staying in, and it was something else. I mean, it was a total tell.
Well, and
this is a tell here what Duff is talking about.
But that's a Virginia-educated player,
Oh,
University of
that's right.
Virginia.
I
So
forgot.
those guys pick up on those things. But those little nuggets make a difference in terms of your awareness and your ability to make plays.
Duff, you're the best. Always a pleasure to have you. We'll do it again next week. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here with you again. Look forward to it again.
Former Jags linebackers coach Mark Duffner with us in studio each and every Thursday here on Jaguars Happy Hour. And from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Boselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
If you look closely at a Ford SUV, you won't just see eye-catching design. You'll feel adventure and a new sense of freedom in a Ford Bronco, or an elevated level of confidence from the advanced technology found in a Ford Explorer. And with standard 4x4 in the Bronco Sport, you'll find the strength to overcome almost any obstacle. It's time to see Ford SUVs in a new light. Stop by your local Ford dealer today to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and more. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies based in Jacksonville has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com.
Just if he was a receiver in general, you say this guy's a really good receiver. and he's a great back. So I think he's as good as there is at that position in terms of catching the ball in the backfield and presenting issues in the pass game. Yeah, he's special.
Anthony Campanelli, the Jaguars defensive coordinator, earlier today. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios of the Miller Electric Center on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to former Jags linebackers coach Mark Duffner. Great insight each and every Thursday at 4 o'clock right here on Jaguars Happy Hour. And that's a coach's perspective, a guy who grinds through the film even still and looks for everything, and some kind of angle can go a long way for a football team, especially on defense.
Yeah, it's amazing. You go back, a couple decades, and the tips were found on film. And now with analytics essentially running probabilities and statistical analysis of formations and everything else, that's become a huge part of game planning. It's changed the way that the games are called. And what Duff is talking about those little tips and things of that nature that you can pick up, those things still exist. And if you can have those tips and then combine that with the analytics, but here's I think the thing you got to be cautious of is that, like, as a coach, you want to give the players all the best tools in the world. But the last thing in the world you want to do is to completely fill their mind to where they line up and they're thinking so much they can't even play ball.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fine line that you got to walk with how much you share with a player of all the information that you really have as a coach.
And a lot of that too is players doing all that work on their own in the film room, right? You find some of that stuff when you dig deeper into the film.
Yeah, when you watch the film, a lot of that is watching how the opponents, how they play, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. As a defensive end, you might watch Trent Williams and say, okay, what does he do with his hands as I'm approaching? How are his sets, based on his stance? You look at all those things to help you give you the best plan of attack of facing a guy like that. And Josh is, he was raised the right way by Calais Campbell, and he is a student of the game, and he'll be watching a ton of film on Trent Williams and also McKivitz, the right tackle.
Time for the Jaguars defensive coverage of the game, presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, benefits for federal employees and retirees. And we focus this week, of course, on Christian McCaffrey. Why not? He's the number one issue right now for the San Francisco offense for defenses to cover. First-round pick, of course, back in 2017 by the Panthers out of Stanford. Signed an extension with the Panthers in 2020 that was traded over in 2022 to the 49ers. Two-time first-team All-Pro. And in 2 games against the Jaguars, 271 yards on 35 carries in 2 games, 2 touchdowns, and over 100 through the air as well with a touchdown. He had a really big game with Carolina back in 2019. That's where the bulk of his numbers against the Jaguars came from. So McCaffrey is leading the league in touches, 77. That means 52 carries and 25 receptions this year, and the most touches in the first 3 games in his career. That's a pretty remarkable start for him. The question I have for you is, how sustainable is that for San Francisco to keep feeding him and seemingly only him? The wide receiver has had some play too, and we've talked about it just a little bit with Duff. What scares you the most about McCaffrey?
Well, first of all, the answer to the first question is sustainable. If you look at McCaffrey over the last couple of years, your answer is no, because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. 77 touches is a lot. What the number that really jumps out of all those numbers is 25 receptions. You extrapolate that out to a full season, you're talking 141 catches on the season. Right. Which would be a new record, which would break the old record that he had with the Carolina Panthers. Well, I think it was like 119 back in 2019 or something like that, whenever it was. But, that's crazy. And what that tells you is that the quarterbacks are not comfortable throwing the ball to the wide receivers. They're very happy just to dump it down to the running back. And so, obviously, he's going to have a lot of attention in this ball game unless the 49ers all of a sudden – get Juwan Jennings back. Is he back? I don't know. He missed last week with an ankle shoulder. Pearsall was on the injury report, didn't practice yesterday with a knee injury. It's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out. But McCaffrey's going to be he's target number one for their whole offense, whether it's run or pass. So that's going to be a huge concentration for the Jaguars defense as a whole.
Yeah, another guy that has been an issue so far for defenses is Ricky Pearsall, the wide receiver, who's had some play early in this season. A lot of those guys are out, so he's been getting the bulk of the at least wide receiver receptions for this football team, and still a young player in the league.
The crazy story about him is, remember last year in his rookie year, he got shot in chest. I mean, how horrific is that? But he came back to play, and this year he's, I think, third in the National Football League in yards receiving. So he's kind of their number one target right now. But the secret is stopping 23 on the ground and taking advantage of the inadequacies that the 49ers have with their offensive line, particularly those two guards. Calais Campbell was whooping up on both of them last week in that game, and Calais Campbell has some very long teeth.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
A long, long time. He was crushing. In fact, the play that gave them the lead on the safety, he got the pass rush over the rookie left guard for the 49ers that led to the hold call in the end zone, which is a safety. And Calais is he's still a good player at times.
He did it against this team last year, week one, right? 2 hours before the game, he's in handcuffs. All of a sudden he has the first tackle for loss and a sack on back-to-back plays, first drive.
Yeah, he's a good player. And this is his last year kind of returning home a little bit. And his play time has significantly dropped with the Arizona Cardinals. But it's great to see him, and I hope he has a great year.
Yeah, of course, he was
great to see him on film, I should say.
Yeah, last week against San Francisco. We've got plenty ahead. We're going to come back in just a moment and take a look at the history in California for the Jaguars.
Not good, JP.
No, cover your ears. It's
well,
not pretty, but that's the
I do
past.
know this.
Yeah,
good teams travel well.
Correct. We'll dig into that when we come back. We've got the injury report as well. The Thursday edition not out until about 7 o'clock tonight due to the time differences between the teams. We'll take a look at yesterday's and see what we can pull out of that as well. And then at 5 o'clock, it's Jags HQ. We'll have Tony Boselli and James Gladstone in studio with us live, 5 o'clock. That's on the Jaguars Radio Network. If you want customized Jags furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. On 1010XL 92.5 FM, it's Jaguars Happy Hour.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Boselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags.
It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years straight. Choose a gas, hybrid, or all-electric F-150. Got a heavyweight job to do? It's time for Super Duty. Save on a great selection of Ford trucks, including Maverick and Ranger. It's Ford Truck Month. Time to make your move. Don't miss the best offers of the year during Ford Truck Month.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and more. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit Jaguars.com/forward together.
We've got to attack the ball more, I think, with our hands instead of letting it maybe get into the body at times. We always talk about not trying to let the ball cross our eyes. So if it's an in-breaker or even an out-breaker, trying not to let it cross you this way at all. There's a difference between the ball being, here and going and getting it there. That's just kind of the way that's how we're trying to coach it.
Liam Cohen trying to explain how to correct some of the drops in the wide receiver core the last couple weeks. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to Mark Duffner earlier. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center, 1010XL 92.5 FM. We're about 15 minutes away from Jags HQ. We'll have Boselli and James Gladstone in studio with us, at least scheduled to join us at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network. And we'll dig into all that has happened this week for the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up shortly. Time now. You know what? We'll get to the injury report in a second. The drop issue there. Liam Cohen on the podium earlier this week, going through, putting his hands up, explaining some ideas behind it. I mean, are we overthinking? You just got to catch the football, right? Is it that simple?
Yeah, it's that simple. It's concentration. It's tracking the ball with your eyes all the way into the hands. And Liam brings up a good point about not letting the ball kind of pass your body, and that means essentially he's talking about attacking the ball, going to get the ball instead of waiting for the ball. When you're going to get it, what happens a lot of times is that you're going to get it, so your focus is on the ball, not making a move yet. Mm-hmm. And so when you're kind of letting it come past you, a lot of times you're turning your head and moving your head to see where you're going to go after the catch. But that's got to be fixed. I mean, you got too many drops with his football team right now, and it's impacting the offense overall. Brian needs to be obviously better. Parker had a rough outing with a couple drops himself, and Etienne had one which was on a swing pass, which wasn't great. So I think there were 6 in that game total. I'm not sure what the count is on the year, but it's not pretty. You want to make sure that gets fixed. And today, they had some guys staying on the jugs machine after practice, throwing balls, after the completion of a play, just working the catches, So that's all you can do is you just work the process and practice and continue to get better at it and find a way to concentrate better. Keep your eyes on the ball all the way. I mean, all those things. I mean, it's not a mystery as to how you get better. You rep it, you get better in practice, you make a concerted effort to improve on it and to rep it, and then that's how you get better. If you don't do all those things, you're going to continue to do the same thing.
Yes, part of that is wide receivers dropping the football, but Trevor Lawrence, as you referenced earlier, needs some better overall play, consistent play. He has an interception now in 6 straight games. It's the longest active streak in the National Football League. and the passer ratings right around 70,
Go
29th
back
in the
to the
league.
interception here for a minute before you move on to
I got
all
a
that.
lot of numbers.
Because here's what happened. If you go back and look at the sequence of plays that led up to that, I think it was like a drop interception.
Okay.
So now you get a quarterback who has the drops, and now he feels like he's got to force something that wasn't there. Okay, that's not what you want, okay? You want to be able to have a quarterback that's not feeling like he's forcing the ball. And here's the fact of the matter, too. The ball placement can always be better. You want the ball placement to be the best it possibly can be. And so I'm not saying that Trevor is completely absolved of any responsibility, but the majority of them are flat-out drops. I mean, you just got to catch them. So everybody needs to be better on that front. And, again, you're going to continue to get the game plan that the Texans gave you every week. They're going to challenge your passing game because they're going to load up the box, stop the run, and say, Trevor Lawrence, try to beat us. And that's when I say Trevor Lawrence, that's Trevor Lawrence, the wide receivers, the pass protection. It's the passing game overall. And so strap it up. Here 49ers are going to look Robert Saleh, Gus Bradley, they're going to load the box. Load the box and see if Trevor and the passing game can make enough plays to back them off and out.
We'll see what happens with De'Ami Brown and his shoulder. We'll get to the injury report coming up. But
he got folded, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Alshire got him.
Alshire had a great hit. I mean, He folded him, probably a classic separated shoulder because it was like one of those tuck and fold we used to do on quarterbacks when it was legal.
Yes.
And it's legal to do that on a runner or wide receiver.
If he's not available, is it more for Travis Hunter? And how do you get him involved a little further down the field? Or is that going to be in play? Or is he going to be a short catch and run guy?
I think you can involve him more, but part of involving somebody else too is Parker Washington. He's got to be able to take some of that responsibility, and it makes sense. He's kind of the next guy up. And can you throw the ball more to Travis Hunter? Sure. Can you have him run deeper routes? Sure. He's got to have more than what he had target-wise this past week. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I mean, if I'm the quarterback, Travis has a pretty good catch rate compared to Brian and compared to Parker after last week's game. Mm-hmm. I would probably feel comfortable to him. But here's the guy that I think it's time for a dominant game. And I'm not saying a breakout game, and that's Brenton Strange.
Okay.
I think this is a big game for Brenton Strange to where he can have a huge impact in this game. He's already having a huge impact on the game on a day-to-day basis in the running game and the passing game. He had that one catch to where he had Kamari Lassiter covered him on essentially a deep out, and it was a great throw by Trevor. And Brenton continues to show great run after catch, and we're looking at one play right there where he got whacked by 3 Texans defenders and still kept his feet and got a few more yards down the field. I mean, he's the closest thing to George Kittle that's in the league right now. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, he's not George Kittle. I'm not saying he's George Kittle. I'm just saying that he's the closest thing to George Kittle that's in this league today. What I mean by that, George Kittle's an outstanding blocker, and he's an excellent receiver when he's playing. And that's the exact same kind of player that Brenton Strange is, excellent blocker and an excellent receiver. And the more reps or the more targets he gets, the more we're going to see out of him, I think, and there's going to be more to love.
Let's take a look at the injury report presented by UF Health, the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Due to the time zone differences, the official report does not come out for Thursday until about 7 o'clock or so 4 o'clock Pacific Coast time. But we'll go through Wednesday's players that were out. And as you would imagine, the 49ers have a long list. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players on the injury report this week, not to mention the guys on injured reserve and the PUP list, including Kittle. And, I mean, Bosa's still on this list. He's out for the season, though, with a knee issue. We won't go through all of them. Juwan Jennings, ankle and shoulder issue. The wide receiver has not participated in practice, at least on Wednesday. Mac Jones with a knee issue, limited on Wednesday. McCaffrey was just resting, not a big deal. Ricky Pearsall with a knee issue, didn't practice. The wide receiver who's had most of the wide receiver production for them. So with the other guys hurt, Ayuk has been out. Pearsall didn't practice on Wednesday with a knee injury. So that could be big. Trent Williams was resting. Michael Williams was full. He's fine. So there's a long list here for the 49ers. That's been the story of the season, but they have overcome and won football games. So now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. De'Ami Brown on Wednesday, shoulder injury, did not participate in practice. Ezra Cleveland, a guard with an ankle issue, limited. McCary, the guard with an elbow issue, limited. Wyatt Milam, knee injury, limited participation, the guard as well. Brian Thomas Jr. with a wrist issue, full participation Wednesday. Bashal Tutin, running back, shoulder issue, had the non-contact jersey on, at least today in the open period when I saw him. Limited participation on Wednesday. He did play last week. So that's the Jaguars part of it. San Francisco with a much longer list. That's a long list for early in the season.
Yeah, it's real long. By the way, former Jaguar tight end Luke Farrell is now the starting tight end for the 49ers in place of George Kittle.
Yeah, he's no George Kittle.
No, he's not. He's a blocking tight end, but he's a very good blocking tight end. Sure. Loved him here. He did a good job, kind of in one of those inline blocking tight ends. Good player. He was a good draft pick.
You know who else is on this team? It's a former Jaguar, Jordan Jefferson, defensive tackle.
Yeah, he hasn't been active yet in the game this season.
That's right. He's on the team, though.
If you look at some of the former defensive tackles, that they were, the number that we kept last year, I think it was 10, because we were just so deep and had quality depth at that position. I don't think one of them has had an impact anywhere else yet. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying. Robert Saleh, of course, the defensive coordinator, former Jaguars assistant coach. Gus Bradley is on this staff as the assistant head coach of defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be an interesting.
And then the special teams coordinator for the 49ers is former Jaguar special team great Brant Boyer, who when he left the Jaguars and for many years after that, because he played here from 95, he was here with me and Tony and everybody else at the very inaugural year, and then he played until 2000, and then he was the leading special teams tackler for a long time until Montel Owens came along. And Boyer was an excellent special teams player. He was about 5'9". I'm just kidding. He was a little taller than that. We used to joke with him about how tall he was. But since 2016 through last year, he was the New York Jets special teams coordinator. Very well-respected coach. Has always been a great guy, and it's going to be good to see him.
Jaguars in California all-time have not been good. 4-11, the all-time record in the Golden State. They had some success in Oakland, 3-3 over the years. They got a win in 2022 in L.A. against the Chargers and beat the heck out of the Chargers. In that game, of course, beat them in the playoff game later that year at home here. But they have never won at the 49ers. Once at Candlestick in 2009 and then lost in 2017 late in the season at Levi's Stadium.
Everybody makes a big deal out of this West Coast thing. JP, pull up the Jaguars' all-time record.
All-time?
All-time. Just give me the Jaguars' all-time record.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Okay? And I'm not talking about all-time on the road record. I'm talking about Jaguars all-time. You could actually break it down in Jaguars all-time record.
You ready?
And Jaguars road record. How about that?
All-time record, 204 and 283.
Okay.
204 up, 283
You got a road
down.
record for me?
I'm looking through it. Stand by.
I'd love to know what that one is.
That's great. Okay. Why?
Because I guarantee you it mirrors what the road record is in California. Because here's the reality while you're looking for those numbers. Good teams travel well. Bad teams don't travel well.
All-time regular season road record, 80 wins, 163 losses.
Okay, so you've lost twice as many as you've won. What's the California record?
4-11.
Okay, it's about the same. It's California doesn't have this something in the air that makes teams lose by traveling to the West Coast.
Smog, especially in L.A.
No, they got a great sea breeze from the Pacific Ocean.
Great.
But my point is that good teams travel well, bad teams travel poorly. And the Jaguars have not been great historically yet. And so here's an opportunity, just like last week, of changing the narrative in the AFC South. Here's a chance to change part of the direction of the franchise. and start winning on the road, because you're going to have to find a way to win some road games to be able to stack enough wins to win the division and qualify for the playoffs.
That's Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to former Jags linebackers coach Mark Duffner, joining us each and every Thursday at 4 o'clock on Jaguars Happy Hour. Coming up, Tony Boselli and James Gladstone scheduled to be in studio with us. Jags HQ is next on the Jaguars Radio Network. And thanks for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.
Welcome to Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman sit down each week with the decision makers of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're going to bring you a product that you all can be proud of. With that, game on.
Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, starts right now.
From the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center, this is Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida. We're on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. The Jaguars face the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday. It's a 4:05 Eastern kickoff time. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, GM James Gladstone. On time as always. How are you? Good afternoon.
Oh, life is good. How are you guys?
Good. Life's good at 2-1. Winning record. You know, coming off a tough divisional win at home and found a way to overcome some adversity late and found a way to win the football game, which is great to see. And a lot of coaching points this week for Liam and his staff to touch on as always. But it has to be a good feeling coming out of that game last week.
Yeah, that's fair to label it that way. It's a good feeling. Beyond that, I think off the heels of an ending that was adverse, right, where you control a football game in Cincinnati, end up losing it in the final minute, and being able to turn around, right, respond to that adverse moment in time with an appropriate result. It was also let's just call it some version of a challenging game, right? Obviously, offensively, tough to get into rhythm throughout the course of it, right? Defense carrying a ton of the load, but also then seeing when the best was required of guys, it showed. And not just physically, right? Mentally, being able to check from one play to the next after identifying offensively that there was something that could be somewhat taken advantage of defensively from the Houston Texans, and getting Trevor being able to deliver one to BT, which now you get a chance to try and build off of that momentum, and defense playing obviously their tails off for the duration of the game, but complementary football, right? Forcing the turnover, offense following up with points, and then forcing another turnover to close it out. So being able to respond in a way that obviously led to the result of a W in the column on the left. It was also the idea that it was off the heels of a really adverse moment in Cincinnati and bouncing back in an appropriate way. I think we've been talking about response even dating back to preseason, right? And so this was another example that you hope to be able to leverage and work off of, because obviously got another challenging opponent, very similar and very much in the same likeness as the one we just got done with, because obviously D'Amico coming from San Francisco, trying to apply a lot of those same philosophical approaches.
I used the term in a video this week, resilient, because, you know, you had a couple players that had some struggles in that game that came back and made big plays towards the end of that game. Tyson got beat on the double move for a 50-yarder. Brian had a couple drops and then has a big play at the end of the ball game. You know, so, I mean, that's the kind of players you want to have, right? I mean, for a football team, guys that are resilient, they can bounce back. Now, you like to not have them make mistakes earlier in the ball game. Right. But if they do, that's the trait you want to have.
Preach, because here's the thing. I think it's so easy in a game like that for anybody observing, sometimes even the ones participating, to say, oh, man, this game's not going to go our way. in the end, right? But now you're earning the confidence to say it's not going our way, but it's not anywhere near over, right? And we still got a real chance to walk away on the correct side of the line in the win-loss column. And so that's the thing that stands out to me, is the idea that even when it's not going smooth, even when it's friction-filled, even when the flow hasn't been found, you're not out of the game. And so that's the exciting thing from my lens, especially off the heels of an adverse outcome in Cincinnati, to show that immediately.
Tony Boselli with us now, EVP of Football Ops. Hey,
I think he said it well. Amen.
Thanks, Tony, for the analysis.
No problem.
Let's touch a little more on this defensive performance.
That's why I'm here.
The 9 takeaways for the season, 3 in the game, all in the second half, 2 when it mattered, certainly late. But the pressure up front from the edge guys the last couple weeks, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, there's a reason these guys are first-round draft picks and have developed and grown. Josh Hines-Allen's playing his tail off right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole defense is playing really good football, and I think a lot of times you look at, James talked about complementary football across both sides of the ball and special teams, but I think you also have complementary football within the defense. The rush marrying up with the coverage. I think the back half is doing a really nice job, allowing our rush to go to work. And then with that, it doesn't always show up in the stat column as sacks. But you look at a guy like Josh Hines-Allen and the disruption he has caused 3 straight weeks in the game. And just really messing up both the run, the pass. Trayvon, the last 2 weeks, has been playing at an extremely high level as well. But then you got to also look at, and Jeff, this is a defensive end, the middle push we're getting as well. And so I think right now you look at the defensive performance last week, it takes all levels to play at a high, to be playing well. And then the individuals, your guys got to make plays. Tyson did it when it mattered. Jordan Lewis going up with a big interception again, baiting C.J. Stroud and making the throw.
That was a good call.
Yeah.
Good defense.
They've done a great job. And then just constant pressure, constant chaos. And but we're going to need to do it again. The other challenge is a better offense than we played this past week. 49ers very well coached with Kyle Shanahan, one of the best coaches in the NFL, has had a ton of success. So that's the fun thing about the NFL. You go through one challenge, you meet it. Our guys did a great job. Jeff and James talking about a resilient group of how we responded. That was probably the most fun for me. I've been being around here a long time. How often have we seen from the booth, Jeff, get the feeling, hear people talk about what was going on the sideline, here we go again mentality? It was, you talk to the players on the sideline, you talk to people on the sideline, it was the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. There was no flinch. There was no blinking. It was like, we're going to go make a play. And just to hang in there. Offensively, it was an ugly day. Man, it was not great. Opportunities missed. They did a good job as well. We made adjustments, but just never could quite get over the hump. But to hang in there when it mattered the most, hey, we're going to make a play. We're going to put together the drive that's going to go win the game. And they did it. So many good things, and then so many areas that need to be cleaned up at the same time as we go into San Francisco, a really good football team that hasn't lost yet this year.
So, James, you didn't have to go through the pain last year, with this defense. But there was a lot of struggles in the back end. And when you got here, you used the term often intangibly rich. I'm watching the way that your back end is communicating now with Wingard, who was a guy that was already here but really didn't have the opportunity, Eric Murray, who you brought in, and Jordan Lewis, who is probably the modern-day Calais Campbell when it comes to leadership for this organization. I mean, that's just been, I think, a big part of where this defense is at and why they were able to do what they did in that game and in the first 2 games.
Yeah. I think – gosh, there's a lot of layers to that. I know this. Just because we've done it to date doesn't mean that it's guaranteed going forward. And so to fall into the victim loop or the doom loop of thinking you got it all figured out is a mistake. Mm-hmm. And so just like I talked about a response to an adverse outcome in Cincinnati, what is our response to success? And so that is a version of where the focus falls and making sure that we're continuing to level up, continuing to iterate, continuing to evolve over the course of what is a very long season. I know, 5 weeks into 2024, I didn't feel the pains of the Jaguars, right? But no different than the Jaguars in 2024. I was on a football team that was 1-4 with a defense that was struggling. And by the time we got to week 18, it had evolved. It had morphed into a very, let's call it, chaos-oriented group that disrupted offenses. And so as much as that was able to go from bad to good, we can't allow anything other than good to great in our, let's call it, next step as a defense. And so certainly relying on the floor raisers from pro free agency, the intangibly rich elements that really that back end group does provide innately. And I think if I were to, I know a lot of layers, so I could go a lot of different ways, but
we got an hour if you want to stay the whole time.
The idea of Jordan Lewis entering this organization, right? He is truly being nothing more than who he is. And it was intentional to bring in someone like him, obviously him in the end, to be able to provide a very similar level of leadership that this organization saw in Calais, that I had seen previously in some folks we had brought in 2017 with the Rams when Sean McVay first entered the equation as a head coach. So there were examples of what helped trigger turnaround, and Jordan being a big part of that in the now.
James Gladstone, Tony Boselli with us. Back in a moment. We'll take a first look at the next step. The San Francisco 49ers await this Sunday at Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, 4:05 kickoff time. This is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.
If you look closely at a Ford SUV, you won't just see eye-catching design. You'll feel adventure and a new sense of freedom in a Ford Bronco, or an elevated level of confidence from the advanced technology found in a Ford Explorer. And with standard 4x4 in the Bronco Sport, you'll find the strength to overcome almost any obstacle. It's time to see Ford SUVs in a new light. Stop by your local Ford dealer today to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV.
Jaguars fans, it's time to show up and show out. Get game day ready with fresh gear from Fanatics. Rock your teal and black with the new Sideline collection, head-turning headwear, and exclusive drops you won't find anywhere else. Visit any of our 11 convenient locations throughout the stadium and rep your Jags in style. The Jaguars Pro Shop, a Fanatics experience.
Hey, Duval, here's your chance to be face-to-face with the Jags as they take the field on game day. Jump in the shadows and experience the Jaguars like never before. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows for your chance to be part of the action. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C., 18 and older. Entry periods for the sweepstakes are from 8/4/25 to 12/21/25. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, N.A. member FDIC.
Yingling Traditional Lager, a beer that, like true legends, stands the test of time. Brewed by the same family for nearly 200 years, it's a crisp amber lager with a bold, smooth flavor that's perfect for game day. Whether you're cheering from the stands or watching from your favorite bar, Yingling is the taste of tradition. Yingling, legends stand the test of time.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman from the Hyundai Studios. Tony Boselli, James Gladstone with us on Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida. We look at the San Francisco 49ers. James, you know this team really, really well in the division, of course, with the Rams for and they've had a lot of success over the years. What is the personality of this 49ers organization, team? They're injured right now, but they're also 3-0. And when you turn on the tape every year, what stands out about the Niners?
Yeah, this is a tough outfit, and they compete their tails off. And you want to talk about resilience. They've been through it, and they're going through it, and they still find themselves 3-0 despite a heavy volume of injuries across all position groups. So it's pretty impressive what they've been able to do, but obviously a mature, let's call it, group in terms of being together for an extended window of time, understanding their systems, having a strong sense for their systems. They are who they are, and they stick with it. Offensively, they're going to allow their running game to find creases, provide as many as possible, and their RBs do a great job. They're coached extremely well about finding lanes and hitting them hard. And then outside of that, letting their guys on the outside, on the perimeter, get the ball in their hands quickly and get rolling. That yak offense, that yak attack is certainly one that they've leveraged over the last handful of years and leveraged well. So certainly got to be able to, fit properly on the defensive side of the ball, eliminate as many lanes as possible across the front, and then tackle when given cleanops to do so. And then I think for our offense, it's not going to be all that much different than the structure that we just saw from the Houston Texans. So that'll be a fun one for us to continue to work through exactly what our mode of attacking should look like, obviously with wrinkles that can exploit some of the weaknesses that structure presents. So looking forward to getting a chance to step back on the turf there in San Francisco, but obviously not uncharted territory for me.
Where would you rank that environment amongst other road places? You've been there more than we have.
Yeah, that's it can become a rowdy bunch. I think they got a nice little horn that they crank up a little bit.
Horn.
The foghorn.
That's right.
Yeah. So that thing, it puts fans on notice, when to actually let it rip and when not to. But I think anytime you're traveling cross country, you just got to stay rooted in your routine, and you got to try and eliminate the thoughts around it as much as possible, really, so that you can just play freely, play clean. And I know this is going to be our first time as a new leadership group, our support staff getting used to this cadence for a cross-country trip. And, so I think we get 2 more times after this to go all the way. 3 in total, 2 more times after this?
No, we go Denver, Vegas,
gotcha.
And
I was thinking
London, the West Coast. Like Denver's mountain time, but yeah, I'm with you.
It's still, it's a good haul.
It's a long trip. You're not walking.
Are we playing Arizona here or there?
It's there.
So we go to Arizona too.
Have you know the schedule? We can read it to
Barely.
you if you need to.
So we have actually 3 more.
Who else is in the NFC West?
We have 3 more long trips. How about that?
Correct.
Just be glad Seattle's not on the road this year to add to that mix.
They're coming this way, so they got to go here. But, when you take these road trips, it's a lot more about us than anything else. I think where you get in trouble is start worrying about all the noise, all the other things going on, them, West Coast, history, past, time zones, everything.
Just play ball.
It's the more you can lock those out. I think our performance staff has done a great job. Liam highlighted today to the guys. It's been a hot week here, so 2 hot practices.
Yesterday was smoking. Now
it was smoking. It was cooler today, but not a lot. And so we got to get hydrated, get your sleep, and so just take care of yourself. And so I think the message since the beginning is like, hey, let's worry about ourselves. Who do we want to be? What kind of style of football do we want to play? And if we do that, everything else will be just fine. Now, do they have challenge? Do they present challenges? Yeah, James talked about a lot of them. They're going to run the ball. They're going to they're going to penetrate on defense. They're aggressive. They're going to come upfield. They're going to try to create chaos. At the end of the day, we got to. I think we've started to establish an identity of what we want to be and how we want to play, and we need to continue to grow on that and continue to improve on that, and the rest will take care of itself.
One thing too about traveling to San Francisco everybody wants to talk about is, do you travel on Friday or do you travel on Saturday? And I used to hate going on Friday.
Me too.
Because it was like, all you're going to do is just have guys fart around and just waste time and find something to get in trouble with.
That's one way to say it.
Or to get distracted, with family and everything else. But one of the coolest memories I ever had, and Tony will see if he can remember this, preseason we went to San Francisco, which was, you never went to West Coast for preseason, but we did for some reason.
1997.
Okay. Dave Thomas absolutely laid out Jerry Rice in the game on a hit that had Jerry Rice doing the dead roach in midair.
Yeah, it was back when he actually played football in preseason.
Wow. I'll never forget that hit for as long as I live. In a preseason, Jerry Rice and Dave Thomas, who wore number 41 for us, the Jaguars, had a hit on him that was just unbelievable. Jerry Rice got up angry. Like,
preseason.
You can't hit me like you can't hit me in the preseason like that.
That's
he did.
Great.
That was a long trip for a preseason game, though.
Ridiculous.
I don't recommend it.
Where's the complaint department?
Right, send that in.
It's right there. It's right there, the garbage can.
Right,
but yeah, we're gonna
the file 13.
We'll leave Saturday. I mean, to your point, Jeff. We'll leave Saturday. Yeah. We're gonna keep it as normal as possible, and go play football.
Let's come back in a moment, and we'll get some final thoughts here of the Jaguars-49ers matchup. We can talk about the left tackle for the Niners, too.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's been at it for a long time.
Long time, future Hall of Famer. Probably not the same guy he was, but we can talk more about that when we get back.
We'll dig into that in just a moment. It's Jags HQ on Jaguars Radio.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and the Roar. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
The moment you drop off donations at a North Florida Goodwill, your things start new lives. A donated jersey helps someone suit up for success through education and training. A pair of old cleats helps a job seeker step confidently into new career opportunities. Every donation fuels Goodwill's mission to provide education, training, and career opportunities, removing barriers to employment and building brighter futures across our community. To find your nearest donation center and learn more, visit GoodwillNorthFL.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. It is Jags HQ. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Tony Boselli, James Gladstone. The Jaguars face the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday at Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium. This past week, the Jaguars knocked off the Houston Texans 17-10 in an AFC South battle. And courtesy of @Jaguars, we have some Zapruder film of the whole way after the game and the celebration, including Tony Boselli with Trayvon Walker there. And here comes Josh Hines Allen. Look out. Elbowed the defensive end right in the shoulder.
It was a forearm because he came up and gave me a big chest bump. I'm like, all right, I'm coming right back at you. He was aggressive.
What in the world?
He has him and Trayvon have a big matchup. We were talking about Trent Williams, and man, that's a guy I have the utmost respect for. He's. I mean, not that I get to anoint anybody, but he'll be, in my opinion, he'll be in the Hall of Fame 5 years when he gets done playing. And there's always a handful of guys who separate themselves, but there was a period of time where in this league he was by far the best left tackle. Like, he was the standard. Now, he is still one of the greatest. He may be equal with a bunch of guys who are great. But I have such respect, even at, he's 37 years old. Man, I wish I could have done it at 37 the way he's doing it. You still watch him. The physicality he plays with is how the game's supposed to be played. And it's going to be a great matchup for Trayvon and Josh. I mean, because you're going against one of the best in the game, a guy who will be in the Hall of Fame. And he still brings it. Like, I was interested when I turned the tape on this week to say, what's old Trent? He was hurt last year, didn't get to play as much as he wanted to. He came back again this year. And you always wonder, when does Father Time catch up? Because it does for everybody, except for Tom Brady. I haven't quite figured that one.
TB12 method.
I haven't figured that one out. Yeah. But Trent's still holding them off. He's still holding off Father Time, and, man, he is physical.
He's made $218 million in his career.
He's earned every dollar of it. I mean, he's that good. I mean, he's one of the best. And when you play him, I think the mentality has to be is you got to bring physicality to him, because he's there for a fist fight. And if you think you're going to kind of just dance with him or something,
he likes to dance.
He's still got the feet to dance with you.
Yeah.
And and he's going to still punish you even if you dance. So you might as well make it a fist fight. And it's still hard no matter what. But you're looking at this offense, and they also got another guy, and then right behind him you got Christian McCaffrey. So you got one of the best left tackles in all football, one of the greatest of his era. You got a back who can beat you in the run and the pass.
And the crazy thing is both of those guys weren't drafted by the team.
No, both were acquired. So give John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan a ton of credit. They've built this both through free agency and trades and the draft. And so, they're without a couple of really good players because of injuries, but it just speaks to the number of great players they have on their roster. Fred Warner is another one. I mean, arguably the best middle linebacker in all football.
Now, he was drafted by the 49ers.
He was, but so it just shows you across the board at different levels of offense, defense, they have impact players. And anytime you play a team that has impact players, you got to go match that. And you're top players. You got to go make plays. You got to, because so much of it, we talk about it all the time. Liam, Grant, Campy, Heath, all our coordinators do a great job of designing plays, X's and O's. I think we've seen that early in the game. They have great coordinators as well. Robert Saul in defense, Kyle Shanahan, Brant Boyer, special teams coordinator. So both teams right now are working late night, drawing up plays and trying to, how do I out-scheme, schematically have an advantage against the opponent. At the end of the day, it's about guys on the field making plays. And so there's going to be one-on-one matchups that we have to win, like Josh Trayvon beating against Trent Williams. Trent Williams thinking the same thing, stopping the Christian McCaffreys, understanding the threat that Fred Warner is in both run and pass. And so it's making plays above, the quote-unquote, the X's and O's, the schemes that all these great coaches are designing right now. And then the great players of this game, that's where the difference is. They step up and make plays when it matters.
By the way, the stories that we could tell about Brant Boyer,
they are not
special teams coordinator.
Not fit for air.
That's awesome.
Not fit for air.
I can't wait for us to go on mute.
Brant Boyer, he's one of the best, one of the great all-time Jaguars.
He was the special teams leading tackler when he left here. I was telling this earlier, when he left in 2000, lasted for a long time. For many years until the fullback, I just mentioned his name earlier.
Montel Owens.
Montel Owens eventually became the Jaguars special teams all-time leading tackler. So cool stuff. But James, I wanted to ask you, because with the injury to Bosa, Michael Williams, who is the rookie defensive end from Georgia, is going to be getting probably more of a role. Maybe it changes. I don't know exactly. What were your thoughts on him in the draft? Because another defensive end from Georgia.
Yeah, I think it was fair to say there was a lot of attributes, a lot of the skill set that could carry over from the conversation on Trayvon coming out for Williams, right? That was not a stretch to say that they'd provide similar deployment, impact, how you would like to have them influence the game. So there's a lot to like about him, and he's just getting an earlier op to get a heavier workload here with some of the injuries across the front. So certainly somebody you're going to have to account for, and you're going to have to identify when on the grass because obviously picked in the first round, he's going to be the talent that is worthy of that. Now it's as he becomes accustomed to life in the NFL, what does the nuance look like? And he's shown very early signs of catching on fast, which will have to be something we account for.
Yeah, I love to listen to your thoughts on some guys. I mean, it's Upton Stout, the nickelback.
Intangibly rich when it comes to
a third-round
tackling
pick,
people.
Third-round pick out of Western Kentucky, and he's not a big fella. They list him at 5'9", 181, and he got smacked a little bit in this past game on one particular play that I remember. But, boy, is he an aggressive player
He's
now.
aggressive. He is such a fun watch back to the college days. That was a good one for them. And, I know for Upton, that was the knock on him would have been he didn't get many ops in coverage because he was so close to the LOS, the line of scrimmage, and, fitting on runs and chasing the ball. And he was an enjoyable watch for sure.
Small school, right? Western Kentucky.
Yes. Yeah. Very small school, yeah. Final thoughts here. West Coast trip. Team that's 2-1 facing a 3-0 Niners team. Big opportunity here for the Jags, right?
Hey, listen, a huge opportunity. This is one of the great franchises in the NFL. Multiple Super Bowls. This current iteration under Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch have been there. They haven't quite got across and won the Lombardi Trophy, but have been a dominant team in the NFC. The history of the franchise, you can't say enough about them. It's a great opportunity for us as the Jacksonville Jaguars to go fly to San Francisco and try to match up and go find a way to beat a really good football team and a historic franchise in the NFL.
Yeah, we're not having dinner before the game with any of these people we know, right? Okay, it's game day, right?
Oh,
we're not having a social dinner with Gus Bradley and Brant Boyer
we got work.
And John Lynch and all
work
that, right?
Work to do. Okay. We will see them on the field, say hi. That's about it.
There you go.
Enemies.
A lot of people might think you guys would do something like that, but no, man.
It's after the game.
Competition.
Oh, no. We got a lot of work to do.
We're on a mission.
Competition.
We work, Jeff. I don't know what you guys do. Oh, yeah. Actually, I do know.
You know exactly what they do.
I used to do it with you. It's not work. I know that.
That's great.
Yeah. It's work, but it's not.
It's not work. It's work, but it's you paid to do it, but it ain't work.
Yeah, that's right.
Tony, James, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
This week. James Gladstone, Tony Boselli with us in studio. If you want customized Jags furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zip Chair Furniture for Fans. This is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to get into Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years straight. Choose a gas, hybrid, or all-electric F-150. Got a heavyweight job to do? It's time for Super Duty. Save on a great selection of Ford trucks, including Maverick and Ranger. It's Ford Truck Month. Time to make your move. Don't miss the best offers of the year during Ford Truck Month.
Ranked one of the nation's top universities, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Welcome back. It is Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida, #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to Tony Boselli and James Gladstone. And yes, James Gladstone is quite familiar with the San Francisco 49ers, having to scout and look at them for the last, 8 years or so as a part of the Los Angeles Rams front office. So interesting to always having these two in is fantastic every week, but getting his thoughts on that organization, knowing them so well 2 times a year.
I think there's a little bit. I remember the first time that I ever was a player and facing the 49ers, and this is going back to when they had Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and John Taylor and all the great players on that 49er team, and Bill Walsh. Yep. It's sure. So there was almost an aura that kind of surrounded them, and it lasted for many years, obviously, because they won so many different Super Bowls. And then obviously Steve Young took over. Defensively, they had Fagan and Holt. 2 defensive tackles that were monsters. Charles Haley, Ronnie Lott, who was a teammate of mine for a year. Just some great players, Hall of Fame players. And so when they came to town, or when you went there, it was a moment that you had to kind of just say, okay, they're a team. They put on their stuff the same way we do. Let's go. But I think a lot of times when you have a successful organization like that, and nowadays comparison would probably be the Kansas City Chiefs, which will be coming into town on Monday night next week, and that you can't get in awe of
the logo,
or the colors, or the Patrick Mahomes's, or whoever, or Chris McCaffrey's. So, and I think that's part of it when you travel to a place like that, and it is going to be a great environment. Look, they do a good job out there in San Francisco of watching their football team, and they're into it.
Yeah, and they're usually into the mix in the playoff race late in the season. That certainly helps as well. This is this is one of the most banged up football teams I remember early in the season.
I don't think there's any question about it, and especially when it comes to the most important position in the game, which is quarterback, which is huge question mark.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's missed the last 2 weeks. Mac Jones has stepped in and got him to 2 winning results in that time frame, and they're both on the injury report this week.
They elevated a quarterback, and I can't remember what his name was, but they elevated him the last 2 weeks for each game. And so my expectation is that maybe they elevate him again, even if Purdy's available. And who knows if Purdy's going to be available. But
yeah, it was Adrian Martinez who's on their practice squad.
I got a feeling that if there was any issue whatsoever with one of those 2 quarterbacks, they would sign somebody else, quickly. So one of those guys I think is going to be ready, and my guess is that Mac Jones will be ready. Brock Purdy may need another week. I don't know. We'll see.
Brock Purdy, man, late draft pick.
Mr. Irrelevant, not just a late draft pick.
The last draft pick. And has found a career, has carved one out in a place where they were trying to search for a quarterback and drafting high and doing a lot of things. He's the one, Garoppolo's there. They drafted a top 3 quarterback after that, and neither one of those worked out, but Brock Purdy has stood the test of time.
So that's why you always take a flyer on quarterbacks at some point in the draft, whether it's, mid-rounds or late rounds. If you feel like you got one, you take a flyer. You try to strike gold, because if you do, it can pay off. And Brock Purdy was the 262nd pick of the draft that year. That was the pick for Mr. Irrelevant, and it changes every year based on compensatory picks and everything else. But what a distinction to have and to end up being what they consider to be a franchise quarterback. I mean, right now you look at his career numbers, better than Trevor Lawrence's, 67.8% completion rate, 66 touchdowns, 29 interceptions, and a 104.5 quarterback rating. That's pretty good for a Mr. Irrelevant pick.
For the last pick of the draft. And, I mean, remember, he's signed a massive contract, 5-year, $265 million contract. So
he's a good player.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, good player.
We'll see what they roll out there this week. We're back in a moment. Plenty more ahead, including the Jaguars' offensive matchup this week and the Jaguars' offensive line, how they've played overall, and what the Niners have to offer without Nick Bosa up front on the defensive line. That's all coming up. It is Jags HQ on Jaguars Radio.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop, or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and Allure. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Hey, Duval! Getting to the game just got easier thanks to the new Geico Game Day Shuttle program. Geico's got you covered with a complimentary service before and after every Jaguars home game this season. Ride with your friends, ride with your family, and ride with ease. Enjoy celebrating those unforgettable moments both on the field and on the road. The Geico Game Day Shuttle service runs 3 hours before kickoff and 1 hour post-game. Learn more at jaguars.com/parking. And go Jags!
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Glad you're with us on the Jaguars Radio Network this evening. And Leonard Skinner is coming home. They're bringing the Stars and Stripes with them. Celebrate Southern Rock and American Pride with Skinner. Rocks the red, white, and blue, a special night to support St. Michael soldiers and the brave men and women of our U.S. Armed Forces. It's Saturday, November 8th at Daly's Place. Get your tickets at dailysplace.com/events or call 904-633-2000. Let's get into this Jaguars offensive line matchup this week against the defensive front for San Francisco. Of course, Nick Bosa with a knee injury is done for the season for San Fran. They do have a rookie that you've talked about, Mykel Williams, at defensive end. He'll step in. In an earlier show here in Jacksonville today, we heard from Mark Duffner, the former Jaguars linebackers coach. Bryce Huff was a name he brought up that could come in and play some role there on the end for San Francisco. But overall, this Jags offensive line has played very well this year. In the run game, certainly. Only 3 sacks on Trevor Lawrence this season. They've given him time to operate back there, and another a good group to go against this week in San Francisco, though.
Well, I think the run offense has had a big impact on protection as well, because when you run the ball well, it makes it a little bit easier to protect because it slows down the pass rush a little bit of your opponent. And the Jaguars have been committed to running the football, and I think that's been a big one. But, there has been obviously significant improvement up front from last year, and want to give some credit to Anton Harrison. I think he has been really good. Now, it's 3 games in, and consistency throughout a season is what he needs to find, because that is something that he hasn't found yet. So this year, that's the challenge for him. But so far, he has been, I think, really good at right tackle, really good.
He was really good in the locker room this week when he talked about it, too. Just his early season success so far, and with the group of 5 up front together, they've really meshed well in these early games.
I think the coaches, and I'll put Boselli in that category, have done a really good job of challenging him. Because that sometimes is all what it takes, is just for a guy to be challenged to reach a level that he hasn't done. That's what coaches are supposed to do. Yeah. And give some credit, obviously, to Sean Sarrett, the offensive line coach, who's done a really good job. And obviously, Hainsey in there has had a big impact. Ezra Cleveland has been playing well. This past game with the injury wasn't quite to where he was at the first 2 games. McCary's settled things down at right guard. Walker Little's been really good in the run game, been helping him a little bit in the pass game. But for the challenge for them this week, and I think the challenge for the Jaguars as a team, is to block out all the conversation that people like me and you want to talk about. Boy, the 49ers are injured, and they're, everybody's on IR and PUP, and they can't barely field a team, and they're not going to be any good. Well, you know what? They've won 3 games, and they have lost none, so you better strap it up.
Let's come back in a moment. A group that's been strapping it up is the Jaguars secondary. We'll get into their season so far, what they have to match up against this week. It's all next on Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Dude, did you order the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I've never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better, especially me.
You haven't changed your hair in 15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
New and existing customers can get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever. With eligible phone trade-in and unlimited ultimate. Any condition guaranteed. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States, 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Trade-in and additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for details.
What's Here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's Here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's Here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's Here is Wolfson Children's Hospital, with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Jaguars fans, it's time to show up and show out. Get game day ready with fresh gear from Fanatics. Rock your teal and black with the new sideline collection, head-turning headwear, and exclusive drops you won't find anywhere else. Visit any of our 11 convenient locations throughout the stadium and rep your Jags in style. The Jaguars Pro Shop, a Fanatics experience.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
If you look closely at a Ford SUV, you won't just see eye-catching design. You'll feel adventure and a new sense of freedom in a Ford Bronco, or an elevated level of confidence from the advanced technology found in a Ford Explorer. And with standard 4x4 in the Bronco Sport, you'll find the strength to overcome almost any obstacle. It's time to see Ford SUVs in a new light. Stop by your local Ford dealer today to find a great deal on a new Ford SUV.
Ranked one of the nation's top universities, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
And Jags fans, are you Duval enough to become the Jaguars 2025 Fan of the Year and earn a trip to the Super Bowl? Well, visit NFL.com/Fan of the Year and nominate yourself or another fan today. That'd be a pretty fun trip. Go to the Super Bowl. Be nice if the Jags were there. When we did it.
That would be a lot of fun.
Right?
JP, I vote for it.
Yeah, I'm in for that. Count me in for a Jaguars Super Bowl trip. It is Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Earlier, of course, Tony Boselli, James Gladstone joining us the first half hour each and every week here on Jags HQ. Jaguars secondary really playing some solid football. 9 takeaways for this defense this year, most of those in the secondary. And they're really good against the run up front, certainly. But the way the secondary plays the run was nice to see last week. Travis Hunter coming down and run support. We know what the safeties can do. These guys aren't afraid to go tackle people. They're going to need it this week against McCaffrey, though.
Well, I thought it was cool to see Travis get real physical on that one tackle and then came up on another situation and was real physical. But look, that's part of the job description. You know, you got to be able to do both. And I think there's still a lot of improvement that they can find in the back end. You know, you got Monteric Brown that's just coming back from an injury. He had his first game active of the year this past game. I think he's going to have an opportunity at some point to be able to get on the field and have a role. The competition between him, Braswell, Jari, and Jones, I think, is pretty intense. And I'll put Tyson Campbell in that category too. I don't think there's any doubt about Travis Hunter being the best cover corner that they have. There's no doubt about Jordan Lewis being the best probably defensive back right now from a grade standpoint. So the other guys are going to have to earn their time wherever they can find it at. But that's a big difference than last year on the back end, that's for sure.
You got Eric Murray back there, who's just a wise veteran who knows where to be at the right time.
And Devin Lloyd, you know, give him credit. I think that was his best game, I think, by far as a pro. And I think they're doing a really good job, the coaches, of allowing him to do the things that he does best, which is going forward as a blitzer, attacking the line of scrimmage and being physical, attacking offensive linemen. He's attacking offensive linemen this year better than I've ever seen him. And what that indicates to me is that he knows what he's doing. So he's on his assignment, and that makes it good because it allows him to play aggressive. And that's, I think, the biggest change from years past to where he's at right now. You could make the case that he was the defensive MVP of the game this past game. That's how good he played.
Yeah, him back in coverage with players crossing in front of him, that was not an ideal situation.
No, any pressure, you know, they're using him in the blitz package.
Good.
You know, was involved with Trayvon Sack, and that's something that he does well. And you know, look, I think Devin Lloyd's a great guy, and I'm happy for him.
No, it was great to see. And he sat down with John Ozier today on the Ozone Podcast, so that'll come up soon on the official Jaguars Podcast Network. We're back in a moment. Final thoughts ahead of the trip to California. The Jaguars headed to Santa Clara to face the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday. It's Jags HQ on Jaguars Radio.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Cheer on your Jaguars as they travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers this Sunday at the official away game watch party at Mr. Chubby's Ponte Vedra Beach. Indulge in the biggest and best wings in town with appearances by Jackson DeVille and the Roar. You'll even get the chance to win autographed items and game tickets, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow Jags fans. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game. Hey, Duval! Getting to the game just got easier thanks to the new Geico Game Day Shuttle program. Geico's got you covered with a complimentary service before and after every Jaguars home game this season. Ride with your friends, ride with your family, and ride with ease. Enjoy celebrating those unforgettable moments both on the field and on the road. The Geico Game Day Shuttle service runs 3 hours before kickoff and 1 hour post-game. Learn more at jaguars.com/parking. And go Jags!
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast, forward together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/forward together.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Welcome back. Jags HQ, presented by Fresh from Florida, continues right now.
Final moments of Jags HQ here on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to EVP Tony Boselli, GM James Gladstone for joining us on the program and giving us some insight to the week that was around the Miller Electric Center after the win over the Houston Texans. The Jags now 2-1. And they'll take this show to the West Coast to face the San Francisco 49ers. They're 3-0. Levi Stadium, Santa Clara, the site. It's a 4:05 Eastern kickoff time. Countdown to kickoff at 3 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network this Sunday. Tonight in Jacksonville on television, Jaguars All Access on Fox 30 at 7 o'clock. And who you got tonight, Logs?
Jordan Lewis. Me, Brent Martineau, Kai, and myself, and Jordan Lewis, who has been sensational. Free agent pickup for the Jaguars defense and definitely a strong leader.
He's been a great addition. And, we've talked about this in free agency all the time. It's rare to really score in free agency that great locker room guy. I mean, we've had it in Calais Campbell. That's the number one guy here in that regard. A couple other players that have been really good players for this team. But Jordan Lewis is kind of right there with it. He brought the intensity of the offseason. He had a good career in Dallas.
Elected a captain
and
here.
Now he's a captain in his first year as a free agent. That goes a long way.
Very, very similar to Calais, right? Yeah. But, it's 3 games in. It's still a long way to go. But I think he has been better than expected, I think, for the most part.
I think he's the one that kind of pulls everybody to the side when things aren't going well or aren't going as they should. I think it probably happens out here on the practice field, too. Hey, you know what, guys? We got to play better and play better as a defense.
It does. And here's the thing. In order to do something like that, which is to lead, you've got to have performance to back up what you're saying. Because if your performance is not at a high standard, then what you're saying is going to be falling on deaf ears. So that's the thing I think that allows him to be that leader, is because his level of play right now is up here.
And he's a
which,
fan.
For those on radio, I'm
That's
putting my
high,
hand over my head.
High, right above your head. That's pretty high. He's great in the locker room, too, to talk to, because he can give you a breakdown of every part of the defense, all the guys in the secondary. He's just very knowledgeable about the situation that he's in and this team is in, and wants to make this a better place overall. It's awesome to hear him talk. I love sitting in his locker and just chatting up with him, not even on the microphone.
Well, he's very mature, and I think he's gives a lot of thought to some of his answers that he gets asked in the locker room. And I know the interview that he did with John Osher a couple weeks back was strong, and glad to have him here in Jacksonville, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you sit in that locker in between that's empty between him and Eric Murray. You're going to learn a lot of football from those two guys who brought him in free agency.
Well, that's why they brought him in.
That's right. It's paying off so far. Jaguars All Access Television tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox 30 in Jacksonville. Thanks to James Gladstone, Tony Boselli. For Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to our entire crew as well, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reaver, David Cho. Thanks to you for listening to Jags HQ on the Jaguars Radio Network.